We are absolutely thrilled to be here on Matchday Live, StarTimes World Football Channel, where it's the curtain raiser for this weekend. Remember, we give you the very best of the German Bundesliga and the Italian Serie. And what way to start such a rainy night. If you're in Lagos, it's been a rainy night, but we had to be here to give you the very best of the German Bundesliga. And that's what we start with today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Janine Anthony. Like we said, we bring to you 6 games over the weekend. We start with the German Bundesliga, where 2 teams are aiming to still stay top, not top of the table, but in the top half of the table. It is Hannover taking on Stuttgart. Stuttgart fans will travel 5 hours via train to Hannover, which is the capital of Lower Saxony there in Germany. These 2 sides, remember, were battling in the second league, so they will be facing off this time around. I will not be speaking about this alone gladly. It's when I came in here today, despite the rain, despite the fact that it was wet, we were told it's a ladies' night. It is indeed a ladies' night as I bring to you Tracy Chappelle, that joins me now, her debut on the show. The tradition is we usually get gifts. I've seen the phone, so I'll probably get it at the end of the show. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
It's match day 13 in the Bundesliga, and I'm sure pundits and people who pay and place their bets are ready to play their bets. So I'm glad to be here.
It's a big, big bet for these 2 sides. Remember, they faced each other a couple of times, and it's been all fair and square between them. Equal draws, equal losses, equal wins. So it's who will have their tactics better tonight that will see it through. We did show you that the team, Stuttgart fans, will be traveling 5 hours away. If we have the map ready, I'll be showing you where it is. But then again, that team, Hannover, they did play last weekend. Like I told you, they're in the Lower Saxony part of Germany. So in their stadium, the HDI Stadium, 49,000 fans will be vociferous tonight to ensure that team goes through. Tracy, last weekend, it was horrible for the away fans. Hannover traveled away to Werder Bremen, who Werder Bremen already had a record. Very big record going into the game where they hadn't won in 14 matches. So Hannover went to that game looking to win that game and get in top 4. Instead of getting to top 4, they shipped in 4 goals instead. It has to be a big response from them tonight.
Yes, it has to be, definitely, especially when you look at ambition for a coach like Andre Breitenreiter. Breitenreiter?
Yes.
Yeah, the writer. When you look at his ambition, you should see that this is a guy that doesn't get bothered too easily. But if you look the structure of his player roster, they've been traveling and they've been battling with injuries. But thankfully, today they will be back to full force, if you want to call it that. You see players like Silas will be back. Bebu, who is the talisman for a man like Breitenreiter that loves to use his 4-4-2 formation. So that was something that we didn't see working out for him last week. So I'm interested to see how the new boys, I mean, the keeper will be back too, because remember, Schosner, yeah, he had an injury that put him out of the game last week, so you couldn't see him manning the post for the defense. And normally for that particular team, the Reds, you see Hannover having a keeper like Schosner doing the work like a Neuer for Bayern, and he knows how to marshal his troops at the back. And
so you're saying his absence really cost them.
Yeah.
I'll take you on that, because we'll be going to see the highlights of how Hannover shipped in 4 and for Stuttgart defeating Borussia Dortmund. I wouldn't want to give you the scoreline, but we'll take you to see the highlights of Stuttgart and Hannover after this short breather.
Still looking for their first win of the season, Werder Bremen welcomed high-flying Hannover 96 for new coach Florian Kohfeldt's first home match in charge. Bremen started this northern derby in positive fashion. Gebre Selassie in particular saw plenty of the ball as Werder threatened down the flanks. Gebre Selassie went closest to opening the scoring 20 minutes in. Michael Esser on his first start of the season got down well to save, and Maximilian Eggestein couldn't get a proper hold of the rebound. Bremen continued to hold the upper hand and were rewarded for their persistence 5 minutes before half-time. A delightful through ball by Max Kruse was matched in its quality by Finn Bartel's finish. The pair combined to great effect all match, and their link-up play would prove key. It was Werder's first goal at home in over 6 hours, and Bartels became the first Bremen player to reach 2 goals for the season. He wouldn't hold that honour for long. 1-0 The score at the break. Hanover went close to equalising on 2 occasions after the restart, but were punished for their profligacy 55 minutes in. Bargfreder capitalised on Sebastian Meyer's mistake to set up Max Kruse, who slotted home in style to open his account for the season and sound the kickoff for the Kruse show. After scoring twice in a match for the first time this season, Bremen were hungry for more. Just 5 minutes later, Bartels and Kruse combined once again to make it 3. Perhaps fortuitously this time, as the ball squirmed under Esser, but it was no more than the home side deserved. Closing in on their first victory of the campaign, Bremen and Kruse in particular were proving rampant. With just over 10 minutes to go, Kruse completed a second-half hat-trick to set the seal on a performance to remember. Bartels, the provider, and Kruse just as clinical with his supposed weaker right foot. Werder's 4-0 victory sees them move out of the automatic relegation spots for the first time since matchday 3.
Dortmund were hoping to get their title bid back on track away to a Stuttgart side who hadn't lost at home in 2017. Christian Gentner returned just 2 months after breaking his eye socket. Andre Schürrle made his first league start of the season, with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang dropped for disciplinary reasons. Dortmund had taken just 1 point from the last 4 games and made a catastrophic start. A mix-up between Marc Bartra and Roman Bürki presented the simplest of chances to Shadrach Akolo. His 4th Bundesliga goal of the season, an opener just 5 minutes in. Dortmund's lack of confidence in defence, there for all to see. But to their credit, the visitors did settle down and took control of the first half. 10 minutes before the break, a lovely team move ended in a chance for Mario Götze. Ron-Robert Ziele equal to the effort, but the pressure did tell just before the break. Benjamin Pavar's handball leading to a penalty for Schürrle. Ziele to the rescue, but not for long, as Maximilian Philipp followed up. Ziele's first Bundesliga penalty save in 23 attempts was to no avail. 1-1 at the break and concern for the hosts, but any Stuttgart anxiety evaporated on 51 minutes. Dortmund's defence collapsed yet again, leaving 19-year-old Josip Brekalo time and space to score his first ever Bundesliga goal. Dortmund in disarray after losing Socrates to injury at half-time. Joy for the Stuttgart boss Hannes Wolf against the club where he spent 7 years as a youth coach. Dortmund kept leaving huge gaps at the back. On 71 minutes, the excellent Takuma Asano found Berkay Özcan. The 19-year-old couldn't control his finish. The game was stretched. 2 minutes later, it was Stuttgart under pressure. Sub Mahmoud Dahoud found Schürrle. Ziele was perfectly positioned. A 500th Bundesliga home win for Stuttgart. Another chaotic defeat for Dortmund.
Welcome back from the highlights.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Today, I will laugh.
Today, I would move.
Today, I will play.
Today, I will push harder.
Today, I will drink Olympic milk. I will stay active for longer. Today.
Olympic milk, now available in great value pack.
And we're back. It is Hannover taking on Stuttgart, a big curtain raiser here in the German Bundesliga. It's a ladies' night, like you can see. If you're just joining us, Tracy is here with me, her debut on the show. I'm glad because I'm going to get many gifts. But most importantly, we're going to dissect what exactly we'll be bringing to you today. Hannover are the host team. They'll be playing at the HDI Arena, like I mentioned earlier, 49,000 capacity. For most of the fans that traveled away to that big loss to bottom side, 17th place side at the time, Werder Bremen, it will be about how they can pack themselves en masse and support the team at home. It's been 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss at home. So definitely, it's a big reprieve for them. We'll be giving you some of the fixtures we'll be bringing to you over the course of this weekend. It's a bumper weekend. You want to stay tuned here on Matchday Live on StarTimes World Football Channel. Like I mentioned, Hannover, Stuttgart today as the curtain raiser in the German Bundesliga. In a couple of minutes at 8:30, I will be taking you to the commentary team. Tomorrow, Borussia Dortmund will want to salvage and stop that rust they are currently facing as they welcome FC Schalke, and Borussia Mönchengladbach and Bayern Munich will square off at a big cracker at 6 p.m. Cagliari will welcome Internazionale. Inter will be looking to keep their pace with Juventus, 2nd and 3rd in the Serie A. And on Sunday, it's Lazio and Fiorentina, while Juventus will be looking to get back to winning ways as they host Crotone. In the Bundesliga, FC Augsburg will welcome Wolfsburg in that one. Borussia Dortmund and Schalke. Eintracht Frankfurt will be hosting Bayer Leverkusen. Mainz and Werder Bremen will travel away to Freiburg and Leipzig, respectively. Borussia Mönchengladbach and Bayern Munich, we mentioned, we're giving you that game later tomorrow night. And on Sunday, Hamburg will welcome Hoffenheim, while Cologne, big winners over Arsenal during the Europa League, will welcome Hertha Berlin. So big teams, and of course trying to get 3 points. The table will be getting ready. Tracy, remember, is still here with me. We'll be looking at what exactly these two sides, Hannover and Stuttgart, will be facing. You can see for Hannover, 18 points so far, having to just win 5 and scoring 15, conceding 15. Of course, that 4 goals that were conceded last weekend, not doing so well for their goal difference. But we can't see Stuttgart. If Stuttgart do get a win today, they will climb up until 19th. You can see there marked green. Stuttgart conceding 15 goals, scoring 12. It's a -3 deficit, 16 points so far. A win for them will take them above Hannover. And Tracy is still here with me. Tracy, it's a big task for them. A newly promoted side, but they're holding their own just quite fine. They are having a horrible run when it comes to an away form, and they have to face Hannover, who want to win at home, with a point to prove in getting up that table. Is it doable tonight?
For a coach like Hannes Wolfe, or Wolf, like I like to call him for myself, it's a uphill task. An uphill task, if you ask me. But these are old enemies. Remember, today is Friday, Black Friday, the dreaded Friday.
Which means you're saying goals will be scored.
Yeah, goals will be scored.
Keepers will shake.
No, seriously. If you remember back in 2015 when our guy, Breton Reiter, was in Paderborn, he was the guy that showed this particular club shaggy. And coincidentally enough, you find a striker, like a top striker now for Hannover, what's his face, the Austrian Martin Anik. You find a guy like Anik, who was in Stuttgart when they were collecting their trash in about 3 years ago. Now he's the poster boy for Breton Reiter. So I think it's an interesting thing to watch if he can still come up against his old club and still show them shaggy like he was shown shaggy. But back to Wolf, he has some cute cards up his sleeves. Take a player like Shadrach Akolo. That's a guy that's hungry. He has probably one of the most for, you know, girls, we have to describe it the way we see. So he has
unfortunately, Akolo is out injured, so he will be watching this at home.
That's the sad part.
As Tracy and I are in the studio doing the show.
No, seriously, that's the sad part. Because honestly, most people that were coming to this match were looking forward to a player like Akolo. But for a guy providing most of his assists not being around, that means what's his face? Trebon, their main striker.
Yes.
He's going to be finding it a bit difficult because if I look at the formation from the team list that is coming out already, probably this is the guy that's going to be doing lone striking. So he has to fight for himself.
Let's see the key players.
I don't know. It will be tough but doable.
Yeah, that on your screen, like we mentioned, Ginchek as well. I mean, Ginchek and Akolo, not the game they should be out, but they are out injured. But of course, Tarod is there, and let's talk about Brakalo for a bit, Tracy. 18, 19-year-old, you know, scoring his first Bundesliga goal last weekend. It's a big, big leap for him, and it's going to be a big task for him to lead the side. The fact that Ginchek and Akolo are out injured, they've scored 6 of the 12 goals Stuttgart have accounted for. So for Brakalo scoring his first Bundesliga goal, and you can see that -3 goal difference. What do you think the coach should be doing today as regards, of course, getting Brakalo up front, but how conservative should they be against this Hannover side that pretty much have their cards in check?
Cards in check, definitely yes. But personally for me, I think the best thing he can do is what he's doing right now. Bundesliga is a league that's slowly and surely setting pace as the league where young boys shine. Take the squad in Stuttgart already. You have Asicada, the Argentine boy. You have Pavard, all of them getting called up to national team. I mean, that's
amazing.
That's amazing. And then see Brakalo doing his own thing too. So that's without pressure for them. So for me, is depending on an Argentine boy that's not even started to shave properly. So I think he's asking his young boys to step up. And if we follow the chain of actions in the Bundesliga, where we see young boys from the age of 17 to 23 stepping up massively for big nights such as this, I think he's doing the best thing he can for now. It's what you have, you use now. So now it's up to the quality of players to show their quality, if they're worth it. So, but definitely, if you look over across, their defensive structure is not as bad as you would think.
Yes.
Right now, currently, for a club like Stuttgart, they are not doing so badly.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that. They have a Holger Badster back. I mean, from Bayern Munich.
Back.
Yes, from Bayern Munich and in his teens. He also have, like you mentioned, Ron Robert Zieler, also in goal for Stuttgart. We'll be giving you some of their key players. Hopefully, our production have the key players that we've mentioned. Ron Robert Zieler in goal for them. Salif Sane as well for them. We are trying to get confirmation if Sane will be starting. But Tracy, the big news. You can see Martin Harnik, 173 appearances for Stuttgart. He's scored over 50 goals for them. He'll be back against Stuttgart. But the big news, Tracy, quite sad. Jonathan Jesus is out injured until he's out for the end of the year. For someone who's giving you 3 goals, 3 assists, to the likes of Harnik, who scored 5 goals, it's a big blow for Brighton Rather, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and probably this is where a player like Onak in Stuttgart would want to step up and show his, what people would say, his spine number. So this is where he wants to step up and show his spine number. But definitely, this is a match where you rotate your players and you pray that your squad has enough depth to step up, and that's what we are looking out for, a step-up match today. So
very big step up for them. Remember, it's stepping up on the table because as we speak, Hannover are 8th. They'll be looking at getting back to winning ways. They've just lost one game at home. We'll be looking at their head-to-head. Let's look at the form guide for the last 5 to 6 games, how they've fared so far in the league, so that we can put this fixture into context. Tracy, you can see the L's for Hannover, 4 losses, and it's been big for them. For a team that started the first 6 games in the Bundesliga unbeaten, they've lost the last 4 out of 6. So it's something shaky for them that Stuttgart will be looking at. Look at Stuttgart. They've been on the upward for them. 4 wins and 2 losses. So it's almost a rotation, and that's why it's so important for Stuttgart, isn't it?
Probably yes. I think for most teams in the Bundesliga now, everyone prays not to have the curse of Hertha Berlin. Please, Lord, let the curse of Hertha Berlin not be my portion.
Take us through the curse of Hertha Berlin.
When you think that you're going very good, I mean, see what happened in the Europas yesterday. They were doing fantastically well. Next thing you know, boom, boom, and bang, they just fell Yakata. So for me, most teams right now, they pray not to get caught up in the winning phase right now. And for a team like Stuttgart, again, I would still say winning Dortmund it's not as massive as what Hannover did. I mean, when Hannover won Dortmund, Dortmund was top of the
What do you
league.
mean it's not as big?
It's not
Are
as
you
big.
downplaying the win?
I would downplay it. Seriously, you play a Dortmund that doesn't have what a Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, their main guy, their highest goal scorer that they have, at least until Lewandowski stepped up.
For a team that's consistently met in the Champions League, you'd expect, them to get the credit for at least defeating Dortmund. We hear that the lineups are getting ready, so we'll be giving that to you shortly. And like Tracy did mention, lots of league games going down during midweek from Champions League and Europa League. Of course, because we are bringing to you the Bundesliga, we have to take you through how the German teams fared in the Europa League. But firstly, we can see the ambience there at the HDI Arena, and of course, the ball girl. They call them the mascots. They're such a cute girl. We didn't get this chance, Tracy, when we were young. We would have been doing this.
Also.
Yeah, it's pretty historic for them, the mascots as well. We'll be getting feelers of how cold it is and how many degrees it is there that the fans are there. But we did mention that the German teams did take part in midweek fixtures. We'll be getting to you some of the results from the Europa League and the Champions League, just to take you through it. But firstly, we'll be giving to you the lineup. Like she did mention, the goalkeeper is back from injury. Sane there anchoring that defense. Anton as well is back from injury. So it's a good squad for Brighton Rider in this one. It's a 3-man defense, and then you can see in midfield Korb as well is back. So a big lift for them, and Ostrocek as well. So it is a 4-man midfield, and you can see Klaas Babu on Harnik, the 30-year-old German. He never ages, does he? 3-man forward. So it's a 3-4-3 formation. We'll be seeing what has to counter this Wolf rather. You can see on the bench they have Hübner, also a big one if you need to play him in this game. And Ron Robert Zila starts for Wolves. Stuttgart in goal. We did give you feelers that Badstuber will be playing, and there is confirmation he will be starting this game as well. He will be. So it's Tracy. It's interesting that it's looking like a similar backline. Is 3 defenders taking on 3. Let's see how that midfield looks like. It's 4 midfielders in that one as well. We haven't heard of Insua in a long time. He starts this game as well as Beck. So, of course, it will be making do with the players who are out injured. Ginczek and Akolo for Stuttgart out injured. Berkalo starts this one as well as Oshkin. So, Tracy, take us through. It's a 3-4-3 similar formation. What do you think the coaches put into consideration? The squad, the opposition? Take us through that one.
From what we can see in this formation presently, I think Oga Andre was just giving respect to Anis Wolf, because normally he would switch to his normal 4-5-1 and just let it press, or he would go to 4-4-2. For him to switch to a formation that he doesn't usually use on a good day, that means
okay. So let's do the calculation. So a 4-5-1 formation, it's more offensive.
It's more offensive.
And a 3-4-3 is more conservative.
Yeah,
trying to keep possession.
You want to hold you want to cover your tight spaces. You want to cover your wide spaces. Make sure that people and wingers don't run through your spaces. Normally, that would be what a play or a team like Stuttgart would do. So they did switch.
But it's an away game, okay? And they have not won a single point away. Do you not think that's
why I feel like Hannover, they are scared, because normally you are in HDI, the stadium that has not lost since September 2006. You've not lost a game. You are holding your game down there.
Okay,
and
so
then
you're faulting the Hannover formation.
You're doing a defensive arrangement, like, seriously. I mean, you're playing a guy that is front line is Takuma Sanu. The only thing you are hoping to get is maybe Özkan will show, or Özkan, the Turkish guy, will show his spy number and sample, but Takuma is no son, so I think the good man, Brighton Rider, is a bit scared. He's a bit scared.
Okay, 3-4-3 formation, 2 sides. Real quick, Tracy, before we join the team, we hear they are right now out of the dressing room. Your quick predictions in the first half?
If you asked me an hour ago what I would think, I would go from probably a 2-1, yes, in favor of Hannover. But right now,
because of the formation,
because of the formation, I'm just going like, you know what, pata draw, both teams score 1-1.
She's saying a 1-1 draw at the end of the first 45. We'll take you to the HDI Arena, where it's Hannover who will welcome Stuttgart. It's a big game for who will stay, at the top 10 of the table. But that will be brought to you after this short break. And we're back from the HDI Arena, where it's Hannover who are drawing at home to Stuttgart, or rather, they're losing that one. Stuttgart with a big goal from Asano in that one. For Arsenal fans who do not know he's on loan to Stuttgart, well, he got the goal, very important goal for the away side, and Hannover are trailing at home, of course, trailing at home to Stuttgart. Tracy is still here with me. Tracy, it was so important when we saw that the formation, and you said something. You thought, Hannover would have a better, more comfortable game at home. But when you saw that 3-4-3 similar formation from both sides, you retracted your prediction a little bit, and that has seemingly worked because Stuttgart are taking the bull by the horn and winning away.
Definitely, yes. When you do not take the fight to your opponents and you play to their sound of the drum, obviously you put yourself on a back foot, and I believe that's something that Coach Andrea has put himself in, considering the fact that you have the fastest man in the Bundesliga and you do not use him in your normal formation and set him wide to go and wreak havoc on some people's attacks and provide cross. When you look at the statistics of the game so far, you see a Stuttgart that plays away. This is the first time they have played this domineering away. And
should we go back again? It's been 9 away games. They haven't won away. Not even winning. They haven't picked a point.
They've lost 6 games.
Look at the highlights on your screen there, and now they are looking to get 3 points, not just 1 point, but 3 points, courtesy of that 24th minute goal from Takuma Asano, the 23-year-old forward from Japan, and he is on loan from Arsenal. He got on loan 2016 season. They extend that loan this season as well, and it's really important, Tracy, because a couple of their key players, their goal scorers, in charge of 6 of their 12 goals, were out injured. And what Wolf did was to respond accordingly.
I think one person you should take note of from this Stuttgart, the Swabian team, would be the man himself, Özkan, the Turkish player. Funny enough, he also has Arsenal scouts spying him for January.
Wait. I mean, why are Arsenal scouts scouting when an Arsenal player is already on loan? What do you need that
Because he
for?
seems to provide good support to whichever person plays as a central forward. Normally on a good day, I mean, when we started this conversation early in the match, a match preview, I was saying, why would you want to be scared of a player like Takuma Asano? But suddenly, with a man like Özkan on the field, providing him crosses, they have the most crosses so far. They've completed about 5 crosses in, and then you are seeing the guy drop forward to go and do work that on like a good day is not domineering.
Hanover have had their chances, we can see. I mean, that play, oh my goodness. There, and then the keeper doing enough to save that one. But you can see there on the screen, lots of penalty shots as well. Just a compilation of most of the goal mouth action from the first 45, where you can see the goal. It happened when Hannover, again, that midfield is spilling balls, and you can't give Stuttgart that kind of chance, can you?
And this is something that happens when you drop too deep, when you set up your team to defend from the back too deep. Normally, what we know from a Rethenreiter kind of team would be they eat you on counters, they do what they need to do straight up, but now you have the team choked up. There's no, normally you have 2 holding midfielders in the center, but who is holding? We don't say defensive 5 that's definite. It's true. Probably that's why you see players like Pavard, lanky Pavard, getting a yellow because he's been domineering of a player that on a good day, they will not even set the same plate and the 2 of them will fight for the same plate because Pavard is a lanky fella. He's not even stocky enough to fight for his game. But kudos to the referee, though, because personally I think for a coach, which most Germans already know, we know the man that dishes red cards a lot, Oga Ayetkin. this season alone, he has already dropped almost 12.
He's pretty much controlled the game properly. And we can see from the stats I'll be giving you on the screen there, it's been a decent duel between these two sides, and you can see shots on total. So Hanover at home, of course, taking the initiative, having more shots on, in total, but less of the possession. So what they're doing is they're losing the balance in midfield. They are conceding possession to Stuttgart, even though Stuttgart had less of the shots. But you can see from the stats on your screen, Tracy, Stuttgart are taking this game to Hanover away.
Yes, not because of the quality. Then again, it's because of what Breton Reiter failed to do. And then again, I hope when the match, when they are done with the team talks, halftime talks, he rearranges this formation, because there's nothing different about what Stuttgart is playing now than from the same team and the same setup that Stuttgart had against him when he was in Paderborn. It's the same formation from Paderborn days. And so that's why I know for a fact that probably he's overthinking that 4-0 from Werder Bremen and makes him want to, like, you know what,
shouldn't he
let's close everything up.
Shouldn't he overthink? I mean, the first 6 games of the season, you went unbeaten. Remembering you just got promoted this season, so you went unbeaten, and that's why you can see them on the table there, about 8th on the table. And then in the last 6 games, you've lost 4. So of course you have to change the formation. You mentioned 4-5-1 was what he was playing a lot with. It wasn't giving him results. He changed to a 3-4-3. Should we cut him some slack and allow him overthink and see what he can do to this side, especially at home where they need to pick up a win?
Crucially, most teams, especially teams that break into the top flight in the Bundesliga, they know one thing for a fact, and that's when the holiday season's coming. And coincidentally, happy Thanksgiving to the ones that eat turkey. But when this season kicks in, usually for a lot of first-timers into the top flight, even if they've been there before and then time took a toll on them and they bounce back, one thing we notice for teams like this is during the holiday season, they tend to want to overdo it. Oh, we are winning. Okay, let's try something different. Why don't we switch this player? Let's change formation. Don't overthink it. In Nigeria, we have something. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You have a formation. So what, it didn't work for Werder Bremen. But it's to be understood, because when you play a team that is from your region, this is a northern German side, you play on the same terrain. If the weather is cold like this, it's the same like your own area too. So they know all the tricks, and they usually have a higher quality of players than you. So you lose 4-0. It's fine. It's football. It was not your day in the court, but that's switch, the violent switch. And I think he has to do something about it.
Speaking of Brighton Reuther, the coach of Hannover, Tracy, saying he needs to do something about it. They are currently training at home to Stuttgart, who are on a high, defeating Borussia Dortmund in their last Bundesliga fixture. So they are the team on a high, despite the fact that they are losing 2 key players to injury. Again, Hannover also losing a player in Jonathan. We cannot understate the fact that, despite the fact that they have Hamik on the pitch, who scored 5 goals, Jonathan says something about the assist. So they aren't getting that creativity.
Yes.
You know, as he's been injured.
He has been their top assist provider for this season. I believe he has about 5 of them. And truth be told, the synergy between him and Anik, it's been something that's been beautiful to watch, because that has been something that, if you follow a formation that Brighton Reiter carries, there's always a synergy between his 2 strikers or the one that drops back. Normally, Jonathan would be a striker, but because of the way the teams are set up under Brighton Reiter, his own is to provide support, and he does it beautifully. This was something that was missing for Paderborn days, and this is something that he has now. But the problem is, he doesn't have anybody in this team now to do that. So,
well, I'm looking at the formation, and it's Klaus coming on, but Babu alongside Hamik, that hasn't exactly worked so far for them.
He dropped the man deep now. Why would you carry someone that should be a winger, and then you bring him and you carry him to come and do a number 7 work? Like, what is he supposed to be doing? What's he supposed to be doing?
So any changes you foresee, or you think the coach for Hannover, Andre, should continue with this side? See, maybe you think maybe a halftime talk, because if you look at it, they haven't played too badly. Do you think it's just a halftime talk that could do the trick for them to get one early, or you think he should continue with the personnel, or just switch the formation? Take us through what he will be planning to do for the second half.
For the second half, I would just say simply, it's Anik is on the field. set the man loose, give him deep
A
balls,
free
deep
roll?
ball, yeah, give him a free roll to roam and let him disturb the defenders, because I promise you, Batstuba is just coming from injury. He's not as sharp as he should be, and Pavard is already on a yellow. So if you set him
That's a
up,
great point, because you're also looking at Batstuba, you're looking at
Beck is on a
Anton
yellow.
as well.
Anton is on a
Coming
yellow.
coming
So
back from injury, so
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, with these players like this, and you have defenders, central backs that already are on a yellow, and you have a crazy guy that if you let him loose, he will disturb them and they will foul him, and he can cause foul, free foul. You chop your... No, it's true. You have to find a way. You chop your yellow
You
again.
mean foul or turkey?
Foul.
Thanksgiving.
Good one. But yes, if he uses a Bebu to drop the crosses deep, fantastic work. I think he should switch the formation back to what he normally does, and he will be fine.
Big call from Tracy there. If you're just joining us, it's Hannover at home taking on Stuttgart. They are currently trailing 1-0. If you're an Arsenal fan, well, that goal was scored by Takuma Asano in the 24th minute. Remember, you can join us on the show by sending us your feedback via our social media handles, whether it's on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Later on the show, I and Tracy will be giving you our handles as well, so you can tell us what you think, your predictions. Remember, it's 6 matches over the weekend. We'll be giving you the very best here on StarTimes World Football Channel. So we want to get you with us. We want to get you conversing with us as well. Remember, you can also see match stats and facts on your screen. So while we are talking, you can, feed yourself with some very, very important stats as well. That can help you predict better on who you think will go home with all 3 points, 1 point, or if they spill it, well, it depends on what the next 45 minutes bring to us. Tracy, we are getting feelers that the players are about to get onto the second 45. Another duel. 1-1 was what you said.
Yes.
Are you still sticking with that? Firstly, before I get a prediction, how do you think the home support has been? They seemed a little quiet. I know it's cold. Our producer should be giving us how many degrees Celsius he did that last weekend. But is it the cold that the fans a little weary? Or it's the fact that it's been a bad patch of form? They should be.
I think the fans are the Rothen. They're beginning to sense the fans of the Rothen. They begin to sense a bit of anxiety. So that's normal vibrancy when you come into the HDI arena. It's no longer there for now. But a early goal will address that, and then who knows? 1-1, 2.1. I think there still goes in this match, but I'll give it to either side. A goal for Hannover.
And you don't think much changes for Stuttgart? They're on the ascendancy. You don't think there should be much changes?
The best that Stuttgart can do is this. The only thing that will change is if Hannover doesn't step up. If Hannover plays like this, they will collect extra goals again. But Stuttgart, they can't do anything extra. This is what they have, and this is the strategy that's working for them. Fantastic stuff. Yeah,
we can see they are lacing their boots. We'll take you to the HDI arena where it's Hannover 0, Stuttgart 1.
And back here in Hannover, as we look at the man whose goal separates the two sides, Takuma Asano, his first Bundesliga goal, and he certainly took advantage of a massive blunder by Philipp Schauner, the Hannover goalkeeper. 1-0 to Stuttgart. Can tell you that Hannover are going to make a change with Martin Harnik going off. Harnik, the former Stuttgart striker, and Niklas Füllkrug coming on. It has been said that the two can't really play together, that they are incompatible. Füllkrug has scored a couple of goals this season, both.
And it is even Stevens, 1-1 between Hannover and Stuttgart. Goes from Asana and, of course, substitute Niklas Füllkrug in that one through a penalty spot. And Tracy's still here with me. Our producer says I should give her a gift because she has a hat-trick. I kept asking what the hat-trick meant, but 1-1 you said before the game. 1-1 it stands. Fair and square, decent game of football.
Decent game of football, but if you are a man called Bryson Reither, I assure you, you'll be feeling very, very panicked right now. For a game where you could have done better, you had to depend on a paltry penalty. Moving forward, check out the statistics, you realize that there's really nothing going forward for this team. They didn't have passes linked in together. The midfield was in shambles. The defense was... I don't understand what was going. Were they doing Atilogu dance there? Because the way a very subtle player without much force like Asano was dancing through their defense, it was almost as if there was no central back that was doing discussion like Oga, oh there, make I hold here. Basically, I think if he doesn't do well in marshalling his troops, this might just be the turning point for him. And the dish that is served to Peter Bosch might just come back to him, and he might just start losing sight of what's important, and that's probably the Europa League or something.
I like the way we're dancing with dishes, Thanksgiving, turkey fowl. Yes. But then again, Hannover getting a draw at home, stopping that rot, having lost 4-0 to Werder Bremen last weekend at home. They've drawn to Stuttgart here at the highlights compilation. And Tracy, in the first half, it wasn't exactly a game of two halves. In the first half, here's the second half rather, a good chance there, but of course it skimmed through the bar, and you would say at this point in time the goal was smelling. What happened?
Well, it was inevitable. The truth is, if I expect...
And that's a penalty shot.
Yes.
Was that a penalty in your opinion?
If it was a foul outside the 18, it would have been
a free kick. So yeah,
anything outside 18 that can be free kick, then it's a no-brainer.
And the goalkeeper isn't looking because he just wants to ensure the team gets a point, and a big one. But for Stuttgart, they'll feel hard done by having, held on for so long. The coach will feel that his players could have done more instead of being conservative. It looked like they were trying to defend that 3 points, and they didn't really have anything much on their sleeves in the second half.
Yeah, especially when you look at a team that has a very sharp striker to Dorn. I don't know, I'm always missing that boy's name, Todern. Yes. When you have a guy like that and you do not start him in the first 11, and instead you pick a guy like Asano, yes, he scored the goal, but what did he really do effectively? How many balls did he put into the net? How many were on target? How many was he able to?
His conversion rate.
His conversion rate. So you have a guy. He has been the highest goal scorer for the better part of 2 seasons in your squad, and you keep him. Not like he's injured. So if you don't have anything moving forward, it should be on your... it should be your own cup of tea, because maybe you didn't want to do that. You didn't want to play a risky game. So personally, I think it's this match. If I was someone that went to buy a ticket to watch this match, I want them to give my ticket back, because it didn't seem like they were out and out to give the fans a good time. And
you can see from the possession stats, Stuttgart again in the second half dominating that possession, but Hannover looked hungrier in the second half with 15 shots in total. You can see the number of fouls conceded. So Hannover were more aggressive, but Stuttgart had to find a way to curtail that. For Stuttgart, the wine, the beer in order. Their first points after 10 games. This is a big lift.
This is the first time actually they are actually getting a very respectable draw like this from Hannover in a while, because Hannover has been showing them, in our word, shaggy. Every other time 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, all in favor of Hannover. So kudos to the maestro, the technician or the tactician, and his wolf. He did a fine job of trying not to overdo, and thankfully today his opponents didn't do, so it favored him.
They're doing the best they can on the table, as Stuttgart and Hannover are now in the top 10. Stuttgart occupy 10th rather, Hannover in 8th. And I and Tracy were talking off calm, and we're looking at the fact that Hannover are still finding a way to drag themselves down the table. They are off the pace. They're about 2 points off the pace in the top 4, and with all of these other teams having a game in hand, so they are not doing as much as they can right now. But Stuttgart wouldn't care. 17 points there, and they conceded, but of course getting that 1 point and stopping that wretched away form for them, that's a big reprieve for their traveling fans. You can see them there when they went to thank their fans for traveling all the way and supporting them as well. Stuttgart are in 10th position, as you can see on the table. So this is updated. Remember, I'll be giving you much more games tomorrow from the Bundesliga and of course the Italian Serie A. It's Match Day Live on StarTimes World Football Channel. We give to you the very best of German Bundesliga and Italian Serie A. So of course tomorrow another curtain raiser will be coming your way. We're getting a filler of what will be given to you first in the Bundesliga. We've seen a run of many games over Saturday and Sunday. But while we get that ready, Tracy, these two sides are showing you that, are they convincing you enough that they can push for European places? That's maybe not Champions League, but the general European feel. Are these two sides convincing you that they have what it takes to go that far?
Should be so. I think we're asking too much for a couple of teams that just came back to the top flight.
RB Leipzig got promoted last season, and yes, and they got second. So you're looking at
the truth is,
so they've
the
raised the bar so high.
And they are not Leipzig 1, and they are not Offenheim 2. You should at least commend where they are and where they've come from, the quality of players they managed to wrangle. Most of the players they have, they are either from Bottom Bele, they wanted to dump him away from Bayern.
You're speaking of Stuttgart.
Yeah, you have Batstuba.
But they have Batstuba.
I'm coming.
They have
Batstuba,
Zila.
Bottom Bele. Zila that cannot even get number 3 shirt inside national team. No, I'm just saying. Because, okay, the Germans have fantastic keepers. So the competition might be stiff for him. But for me, moving forward, I think they're doing fine where they are. And we should just enjoy them where they are.
We're giving you much more on what we'll be giving to your Match Day Live. But we'll take a short break on the show. When we come back, we'll begin to wrap up today.
There is a reason Africa is called the new frontier. Once revered for our resources, today's wealth lies in our people. People who build the cities that shape the future. People who know an idea in one place means business in another. A generation for whom technology means there are no borders, no boundaries. We are the new lions in a brave new world, kings of the urban jungle. And there's a bank that puts the world in our pocket and the future in our hands. UBA, Africa's global bank.
We're back from that breather. If you're just joining us, it was Hannover and Stuttgart at the HDI Arena. It was even Stevens 1-1 goals courtesy from Asano there for Stuttgart before Fulkrug got the equalizer through the penalty spot for Hannover. And these two sides are now 8th and 10th respectively on the log. We did mention we'll be giving you 5 more games at Match Day Live here on StarTimes World Football Channel. But a run through of some of the games from the Bundesliga that you should be looking forward to this weekend. Remember, Borussia Dortmund were in competition during midweek, and they'll be looking to get back to winning ways. Tomorrow, Augsburg will welcome Wolfsburg. Schalke will take on Borussia Dortmund. That game is a huge cracker. Be giving you results from that one. Bayer Leverkusen, Mainz, and Werder Bremen will play away to Frankfurt, Freiburg, and RB Leipzig. Borussia Mönchengladbach welcome Bayern Munich at home, while on Sunday, Hamburger will taste a game against Hoffenheim, and Cologne, who defeated Arsenal during midweek, will welcome Hertha Berlin. Good run of games for them. On the Match Day Live, Borussia Dortmund and Schalke, that game will be coming to you at 3 p.m. So you better get it locked here. Another set of panelists will be here to take you through that game. Borussia Mönchengladbach and Bayern Munich, a big cracker. If you were a big fan of those days, this is a big game. You definitely want to see how that pans out. And we'll take a drift to Mediterranean Europe. That is the Italian Serie A. Cagliari will welcome Internazionale. And on Sunday, Lazio and Fiorentina will lock horns, while Juventus will want to overturn that 3-2 defeat to Sampdoria as they welcome Crotone. Yeah, that is the game we'll be giving to you between a Saturday and Sunday, so you want to join us. Remember also, now that you have the games beforehand, you can also predict and let us know what you think on our various social media handles, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We are willing to hear from you. Let us hear what you think and let us get your take as well. You can see it on the scroll. So definitely, we would like to hear from you. On Twitter, you can find me at Chikadiva, CHIQUADIV. I'd like to hear what you think about tonight's game and, of course, tomorrow's games as well. And Tracy, your Twitter handle?
At official swore.
Yeah, that's her AKA swore. You have a cool Monica. AKA swore. So at official swore, SUO swore. I shouldn't spell swore for Nigerians, okay? So you can catch her there, and of course, let us know what you think as well. We've taken the tables. You see that Hannover and Stuttgart are currently 8th and 10th on the table. Tomorrow, another set of goal scorers, the Lewandowskis and the Aubameyang's, will be taking center stage tomorrow. So you definitely want to see what they have up their sleeves. And Tracy, it's been great doing this with you on the show. I said I was going. My producer is particularly happy that you're getting the predictions correct. How did that work? Was it just the formation you looked at, or it's just a hunch? Can you reveal the secret?
If I say it now, that means all my customers, I'll just... I'm Nigerian, I have to keep
what
my
customers?
It's trade secret.
And like you did mention.
Yeah, like I did mention. Personally, I enjoyed it was fantastic.
Yeah.
The fans and you, so thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Tracy. And to you for joining us on this wet Friday, of course, for joining us on the show. We thank you. And for the guys behind the camera who bring this to you every weekend, big ups to them. My name is Janine Anthony. Thank you for joining us and have a great night.